am. So a lot going on my side of things. Thanks for jumping on with us. I know this was a sudden live stream. As many of you guys know, we do our normal Good Morning Infowars show at this time. And so a little bit of technical issues. So we're just going to do a live stream instead. So welcome. Happy Saturday. I hope you are all going to make it out to your local farmers market today. I know I will. I love myself some good farmers markets. They are the best of the best, but I'm glad you've all jumped on with me. A lot going on. I'm trying to pay attention to not only the Rumble chats that we're in right now, as many of you are probably well aware, we are streaming live on Rumble. We are on both the Brianna Morello page as well as Dear America. So we've got people tuning into all of that. So throughout the show, I'm going to be jumping in and out of the chats, talking to all of you. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, you let me know. Just drop it in the chat. If you haven't done so already, I highly recommend you hit that follow button on my homepage, which is the Brianna Morello Show page. That is our main page. So you're going to want to be there. I'm going to put that in the chat so everyone knows to shift on over. So again, folks, excited that you're all here today. The link for that, if you're watching on Dear America right now, I'm glad you are. The main chat, I just dropped that link in there for you guys. Also, we're on Twitter. So shout out to everyone watching on Twitter right now. A lot to talk about. Obviously, as many of you guys know, Ghislaine Maxwell was given limited immunity. That is the reports currently. She has spoken to the DOJ. So we'll dive into that a little bit today. We're also going to talk about how Barack Obama is an absolute criminal. You and I have both known this for years now, but finally, we might be actually making some, let's just say, some positive headway on the subject, because the reality of it is the mainstream media can no longer ignore what Barack Obama was doing all of these years. And so finally, people are waking up. So it's going to be a good one. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Plus, beef prices. If you guys follow me, which you obviously do on social media, you know I love steak. I love beef. I love everything. So big carnivore over here. I've been really angry, really upset because beef prices have been through the roof. And honestly, I thought they were going to come down, the prices of beef, but they're actually going up. I just was looking forward to my sale over at HEB, and it wasn't really a sale at all. It was kind of regular prices. So we'll dive into that in just a few minutes. But folks, a lot to talk about, a lot going on in the world today. Glad you're with me. Again, we're also, I forgot also we're going to be talking about the migrant children. As many of you guys know, I've probably been one of the very few reporters on this story for over 2 years now. Migrant children were brought into this country, smuggled into this country, and handed off to members of the cartels. And that all happened under Joe Biden. So now the new administration is struggling to find these children, thousands and thousands of them missing, because, of course, folks, they are criminals. I'm talking about everyone who was a part of the Biden regime. They are absolute criminals. People need to go to prison. We cannot say this enough. It is infuriating. It is outrageous that it's even gone this far. I just don't even know at what point do we sit here and say enough is enough. You know, we're entering another day where there's no criminal arrests between those who served in both the Biden and Obama regimes. And again, it is infuriating. If you're watching right now on YouTube, welcome, welcome, welcome. Head on over if you want to join in the chat, though, to our Rumble page. That is where all the discussions are going to be going on. We're still waiting for that push notification to go out. It hasn't gone out yet. This is a random live stream, totally random. So we are just kind of, winging it. We're winging it. Let's see. It's blank, this chat, but Lurk, it's an emoji. Maybe that's what it is. Lurk Bat left that comment. Also, we do that too as well. A lot going on. A lot I'm trying to, figure out here. Sickening. It really is sickening, honestly, Wise. It's sickening that this is all going on and no one's intervening. I understand, and I'm not going to sit here and beat the Trump administration up for this because they stepped into an absolute mess, but thousands of children have gone missing under our watch. One of the most horrific human trafficking rings was run by our federal government. And that's the reality we all have to live by. And so it is completely insane. I see we're getting some comments trickling in from YouTube as well. Thank you so much, Dayton. He said, much love from the UK. We're actually going to dive into that too, because the UK obviously has a huge issue when it comes to migrants, specifically Muslim migrants who were brought into their country. And they are now, obviously, if you've looked at the crime stats, they are now going around sexually assaulting natives. And for some reason, law enforcement's too afraid to intervene. I'm working on a story that actually has to deal with me personally. And I look forward to bringing you some just gut-wrenching surveillance footage that I've just recently obtained. And I know, like, folks, we talk about it often. You know where I stand on these issues, obviously. I've actually built my career off of going after those who have harmed children, who have harmed women. I've built this career off of going after lawmakers who have failed to do their jobs, law enforcement agencies who have failed to do their jobs. And I was on the receiving end of it. And it's not the first time. It's not the first time. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later on today. I'm very disappointed. I'm working on a bombshell report, though. And I would normally stay away from anything related to me because you never want to be the subject of your own reporting. But we can't turn away. We've got to talk about it. So that's what I'm going to do a little bit of today. So something you're going to want to hear about. I know everyone was on social. You guys were on X wondering what I was talking about when I was trying to warn you all about a Middle Eastern man who followed me into a stairwell. I'll bring you a little bit of details on that since we're doing this live stream. Why not? Why not? Because I think we've got to spread the word on all of this. Again, folks, Rumble chat, what's going on? Hey, everyone, the Rumble chat. So they're starting to creep in right now because the push notifications are going out, it looks like, as of right now. If you're in the Dear America chat as well, welcome to the show. Very excited that you guys are here. This is me talking to y'all. So I know there's a lot of fake accounts out there. Oh, let me talk about that too. Lots of fake accounts. Ed, you're on the YouTube too? Ed, how do you do it all? Ed is amazing. Here, we'll put it up. There you go. There you go. Okay, everyone's in the Rumble chat, YouTube chat. YouTube, if you're on YouTube, probably should go transfer over to Rumble real quick because not all of my content gets aired. I know it's surprising on YouTube. They're not very friendly. So if you want to stay in the know, follow me on Rumble. Just search the Brianna Morello Show. That is us. Make sure it's the one with the check mark, the green check mark. That's me. Okay, don't get confused because there's a lot of scammers out there and I cannot stand them. So a lot to dive into. Ed, I don't know how you do it, sir. I don't know how you do it. We're also going to be dealing with those in the Rumble chats. Very excited about this. And we're getting a lot of people trickling in as well on the Dear America chat. So make sure you're in both. Again, folks, I love every second of this. I love the fact that you guys are all here. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe. I run a website and I'm very proud of it. It's called theindependentnewsroom.com. And I started this up because I wanted to make sure that you guys had a direct connection to all of my exclusive stories. And so if you haven't done so already, and this is why it's important that you're doing this, because as many of you guys know, a lot of the corporate media hacks are too afraid. They're just too afraid to talk about certain stories. So when you head on over to theindependentnewsroom.com, if you haven't done so already, it's a free newsletter you could subscribe to. Just hit that subscribe button. Do this now so you don't forget. And then you can enter your email and there's a free option. We also love it when you become a paid subscriber because we're going to start putting more exclusive content on there. But it also helps my work as an independent journalist. So we're going to be doing that. Folks, I know a lot of you are in the chat right now. I'm wondering if we're on InfoWars right now. We're doing a replay right now because there was a technical issue this morning. And I just figured I'd go live since I know a lot of you guys wanted me to talk about a certain number of topics today. So that's what you see here. So we'll figure out the issues and we'll work on that. But ultimately, I wanted to make sure we covered a lot of important issues. I want to talk about this because while we're sitting here, we're talking now openly about what's going on behind the scenes. I think it's really important for you to understand at home that I had this story before anyone else. Okay. And this is why you head over to independentnewsroom.com. You subscribe to my free newsletter because I constantly am beating out other people for this kind of content. This is the stuff you're only going to see on my website. Okay, so head on over, independentnewsroom.com. Angela, I see you over on X right now commenting. Good morning. Let's dive into this a little bit because so many people didn't realize what was actually happening. And I've been trying to flag everyone. I have been trying to flag everyone about this because this had me infuriated. Thomas, good morning. Good morning. Again, head on over, independentnewsroom.com, sign up today. That is for free. You could also donate to us directly, but this is the kind of content you're getting only at the independentnewsroom.com. Everyone's talking about it now, but we had it first. I had it first. HSI can't find 95% of the 100,000 unaccompanied migrant children that they went to look for. And now they're facing a real threat of fraudulent addresses and poorly vetted sponsors. Folks, again, I've had the whistleblowers on my show talking about this, but this came out back in May on the independentnewsroom.com. Now everyone else is talking about it. You know, I saw Stephen Miller tweeting about it, again, putting out that 90, I think it's at 90%, that statistic. But back in May, I was talking about this, and I actually reached out to DHS about it, and DHS telling me that Secretary Noem and Secretary Kennedy have reunited nearly 5,000 unaccompanied children with their safe relative or guardian. Now that number has jumped up to 13,000, which is great. But Stephen Miller is telling us that there's over 400,000 children that are unaccounted for, migrant children. Now, DHS putting out a different number. I believe they're still within the 300,000 mark. But again, I mean, it's just a couple of thousand is too many. A couple of hundred is too many. It shouldn't have happened in the first place. The United States federal government participated in one of the largest human trafficking rings we've ever seen. And where are those children popping up? Well, they're popping up, like we told you, they're popping up as cheap labor. So they're being used on farms. They're also popping up, obviously, as unfortunately, it's so hard to say it, but they're obviously being sexually abused by predators. And that's what happened. This happened under the Biden regime. And so now, we have this new administration trying their best to go through all of this and try to figure out where these children are, trying to rescue these children. And it's very unfortunate. It's very sad. But the reality of it is a lot of these children are gone. So that's the kind of content you get at the independentnewsroom.com. So if you haven't signed up yet, make sure you do. I am completely independent, folks. If this is your first time watching, let me give you a brief introduction because I see right now our Rumble chat on Dear America is blowing up, which I love to see. Folks, if you are here right now and you are tuning in, make sure, let's do both. Okay, so I got the Rumble chat on Dear America up right now. Let's talk a little bit about this because by the way, I know a lot of you are asking, like, why are you on Rumble right now? Why are you just doing a live stream? Yes, normally on Saturday mornings, you would find me over at InfoWars. Just a little bit of a technical issue. Totally fine. I figured since I was ready to go, had a bunch of stuff to say, you guys wanted me to talk about a bunch of stuff. We are going to do it here. And so I figured let's just go. So that's what we're doing here right now. So thank you all for tuning in. Where was I going with this? See, this is the thing about being sidetracked. I have like severe ADHD, but and everyone's in the Rumble chat. Tack, hello, good morning. So I'm going to give you guys the update on what happened. I'm going to leave a couple of details out because I've got a story coming your way you guys are going to love. You're not going to love it, but you're going to love the details specifically as to what went down, how Brianna reacted, and all of that. Scott Brown just dropped into YouTube. We're on YouTube now. Scott Brown saying first time here. Well, welcome, Scott. Welcome to the show. A lot going on. I'm bouncing around. So if you're on X, if you're on YouTube, I'm going to try to get everyone's comments up as we go along. But again, folks, we are mainly in that Rumble chat. So make sure you head on over there if you want to participate in the discussion. And if you're in the Dear America chat, welcome to the show, obviously. Love to see you guys here. Make sure you follow the show page as well. All right. So what should we talk about next? We've got a lot going on. I'm really upset about beef prices. I could rant about that because I, as many of you guys know, am carnivore. And so I thought beef prices were coming down. That's what I thought. Kirk Allen, hello. Good morning. But beef prices are up. Beef prices are way up. And listen, all I do is cook beef, love beef. I know all the health experts will tell you not to love beef, but love beef because beef is very important. Take a look at this article that just recently came out. Beef prices surge as demand outpaces supply. Okay, isn't that interesting? So they're saying, this is Fox Business we have up on the screen right now. Beef prices have surged 9% since the beginning of the year, hitting a new record high due to the heightened demand and dwindling supplies. Now, that's really key here, folks. And this is why I think it's really critical that we talk about it, because how is this happening right now? I understand the logistics here, right? You got to raise the cattle. It's going to take some time to make up for what was going on under the Biden regime. We saw that there was farm animals being euthanized. I don't think it was much in the way of cattle. I know it was chicken, though, due to influenza. That was their excuse. We all know that was a bunch of lies. And look at this. So, okay. So I want to talk about this because this is the problem I have. You might have seen this post yesterday from President Trump on Truth Social saying Australia to take U.S. beef for the first time, a very big market. I hope our great farmers are happy. Make America great again. Obviously, that's like a win, right? Because we love the fact that U.S. farmers are exporting. I learned a lot I learned a lot about beef over the years, from having cattle ranchers on the show to talking to to local farmers, everyone. And I didn't realize, so I usually will never buy foreign meat. I just think it's disgusting. I didn't realize that there's actually a thing where like you could still call it, you could still say that the beef is from the USA, if it's butchered here. Yeah. So that's deeply concerning, obviously, and something that everyone should look out for. But I want to talk about this post, I should say, that President Trump posted, because ultimately now we're seeing that beef prices are still going up due to a limited supply. And yet President Trump is saying that Australia is about to begin taking in US beef for the first time. Now, obviously, again, we love the fact that there's more markets opening up, but we're all sitting here scrambling for a limited supply. I mean, I went to the store and as you guys know, it's me, it's my dogs who also only eat meat. Um, and I usually go with the 4% fat for ground beef. I know it's super lean, but it's super healthy for you. And I think it tastes the same. But it went up to $8 a pound for 4% fat ground beef. I mean, that's insane. I don't think I've ever had to deal with that before. I don't think I've ever witnessed that before. It's insane. It really, really is. Full University, NWO wants us to eat bugs. Not happening over here, buddy. I will reject that to the core. Beef only, girl. I do eat chicken, though. That's about it. I'm just chicken and beef. I don't even eat pork. Pork is being injected with mRNA vaccines, so you got to stay away from that. Oh, I shouldn't say that. We're on YouTube. Oh, there goes that. Here we go again. Here we go again. But folks, it just doesn't seem promising because we're seeing that beef prices are surging due to a limited amount of supply. And then President Trump says we're going to start exporting some product to Australia. I don't even think Australia needs our beef. People I've spoken to said that they don't need our beef. So again, I don't know if it's really going to cause much of an effect, but we'll be prepared. We'll be ready. We will be. Folks, if this is your first time joining me, well, welcome. Happy Saturday. As many of you guys know, I normally do my show over on InfoWars on Saturday morning, but we are here right now. And I love to hear from you guys. So make sure you guys pop in, say hello in the Rumble chats. Let's pull it up on the screen real quick. It's just me. I don't have a producer, so this is all going to be winging it. But thanks for joining me for the ride. If you guys are right now listening, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So many of you guys tell me you're listening for the first time. It is such an honor to have you on board today. I love the fact that you guys are tuning in. Again, I am someone who is all about expanding. So let me just put this up on the screen for you guys. If you guys are on the Dear America chat, I just put my show page. Feel free. That's me, by the way, putting that in. Give that a connection. Give that a follow. Subscribe. Whatever you guys do to support us. I literally run the whole everything. I'm breaking news stories before everyone else because there's so many weak so-called journalists out there. And so if you are in the chat, make sure you follow our main page. Also, independentnewsroom.com, my free newsletter if you want. And I appreciate it when you do, because again, this show, and I always joke, Lisa, hello, welcome to the first time watching. I always joke and say, listen, this show isn't being sponsored by any foreign governments. This show is literally sponsored by you all at home. I am a corporate media reject. I work for Fox, Newsmax, local news, and in sports. I was given the boot because of the COVID bleep. We're on YouTube, so I can't say the word for that. Because I rejected it, and now I'm independent. So if you want to support my work, head on over independentnewsroom.com. Greatly appreciate you do so. So many people out there pretend to be independent, but they're taking money from foreign countries, from other questionable interest groups. But that's not the case with me. I'm specifically sponsored by all of you. We tried actually cutting back on ads. So when you watch my normal podcast, you're only going to see me really promoting independentnewsroom.com and then small businesses that I'm actually friends with the owners of, because I want to help small businesses grow. And so that's really my objective here. So when you do see an ad on the show, it's because I am personally invested in these companies, more than financially invested. It's not really a financial, I mean, some of these are, but just to be more clear, these are people who I believe in, good-hearted people, believe in our cause. They're fighters, and I want to support them and help them grow their business. And so those are the only ads you'll see on this show. So again, head on over independentnewsroom.com, sign up for the free newsletter. You could sign up as a free member, or if you want to get exclusive content, which we're working on now, become a paid subscriber. We'll be dropping that soon. Or if you just want to donate, which we greatly appreciate and we always need, it helps me out so much. I greatly appreciate it. Again, folks, let me pop over to this one. Morphs, thank you, thank you. Yeah, guys, I'm like one of the best former Fox employees. I was a producer over there. If you haven't heard my story, I was working for Maria Bartiromo as her booking producer. I was also working for the Wall Street Journal at large as well. And they weren't very happy with me. They weren't very happy with me. So here we are on this independent journey, and I love every second of it. I beat out, and I'm so proud of it. I beat out so many people to stories they refuse to cover. Stories like Tulsi Gabbard being added to a terror watch list. I beat them because they didn't want to cover it. They were too afraid. I wasn't afraid. I actually called her team and told them that she was added to the terror watch list and sent them the proof. That was me. That's why you subscribe over at independentnewsroom.com. Head on over there now. Again, that story regarding the missing migrant children, that came up a very long time ago on the independentnewsroom.com. Back in May, I started reporting on that one. That angle specifically, the exclusive one. Now, we've been talking about the thousands of missing children for a very long time, but the story that's now breaking that everyone's running up to and trying to cover is the story regarding HSI not being able to locate over 90% of those children. It's heartbreaking. It's disgusting. It's gut-wrenching, but this is what happened. And we all have to live with it now. Again, folks, independentnewsroom.com. Make sure you head on over there to subscribe. Rumble chat, welcome to the show. We're on 2 different pages on Rumble. So make sure you like the main show page. We love it when you do. So I know there was a tweet that I posted, and I know a lot of people are like, what the heck happened to you, Brie? So I'm going to give you some details, but some I'm going to hold back for now because I am working on a story about this. Let me pull it up. So without disclosing too much in regards to where I live, let me tell you what happened to me. So as many of you guys know, I have 2 really cute puppies. I was walking one of them. Here, this is where I tell you guys my story. I was walking one of them and I didn't notice, but there was a man apparently following me. And he wasn't just following me, he was actually running after me. But he wasn't running after me saying, "Excuse me," when we were in a public setting, right? When we were outside in the street. He didn't. He, in fact, was sneaking up behind me. And this happened about 2 weeks ago. And so as I'm going into my building, which I'm going through a side entrance, which is located right by a police station, so I don't really think anything of it. And it's directly into a creepy concrete stairwell. As I'm going in, I open the door, which you need access to. You have to live in this property to get access into it. I noticed someone like zip past me, and I always am very aware of my surroundings. And so it kind of caught me off guard as creepy. So I started sprinting a little bit up the stairs. And I'm walking my dog, and inside the stairwell, there's a man who's going, excuse me. And what? And he goes, I want to pet your dog. But he's saying it in such a creepy way. And we're in a concrete stairwell together. And he is like, got some evil eyes. Face is evil. There's something in his eyes that tell me this is dangerous. Based on the fact that he sprinted into my building, never seen him before. 1,000% convinced. I now know because I've asked my management company. He did not live here. And he snuck in intentionally when I had that door open. And so I say, "You don't live here, get out." And now he's skipping steps to come and chase after me. And now he's walking. It's not even walking. He's pacing up the stairs saying, "Why won't you let me pet your dogs?" And it's getting very, very, it's creepier and creepier. He is now a threat because I told him twice to get out. You don't live here. And now he's coming after me. Now, without, again, disclosing too much information, because there will be more details provided to you with video footage, because I've obtained video footage of the incident, I was able to get him out of the stairwell and get him out of the building. I'm fine. I'm good. But, police aren't taking it very seriously. And we're also going to release that footage too. When I reported this, because I've received death threats all the time for the stories I cover, when I called the police, they sent an officer up to my apartment, and I'm trying to express to him, even showing him a letter from the FBI. And in this letter from the FBI, it says that I am a victim of harassment, online harassment, and they are investigating it. And I show this officer that. I tell him about all the death threats I've received. I tell him about the stories I've worked on, which kind of have me very high risk at something like this happening. And um, the officer just keeps dismissing it and telling me that this is just a man who followed me probably because he wanted to hit on me. Now, keep in mind, it's not like the other guy told him this side of the story. He hasn't spoken to the man in question. He hasn't looked at any surveillance footage. He's literally just talking to me about the story I just told you about and telling me after I showed him that swatting calls have been potentially, or they've been trying to swat my family. I tell him that we've been receiving harassment pizza delivery orders to both my old address and members of my family. And I am detailing all of this for this officer, and he is not going anywhere to even look into this. And he's just still telling me, and he tells me this, and it's all again, all on video. So once they give it over to me, because they're gonna have to, because I'll sue the crap out of them if they don't. Um, once I tell him everything, showing him all the evidence that there are people out there who are trying to actively get me, he goes, um, and tells me again that this is a man who probably just was trying to hit on me. And he says, I constantly have to tell men all the time, you can't just walk up to women nowadays. Well, I have surveillance footage. He wasn't just hitting on me. He, in fact, was running behind me to catch up to me. And then when I turned my head, guess what? He stopped running because he didn't want to come off as a threat. And then he quickly gets right behind me and zips right into my complex, which he was not legally allowed to be on the property. This cop saw the footage only because I forced him to look at the footage. Now, here's what happened. He wouldn't look at the footage voluntarily. I, at the end of our meeting in my apartment, told him to go downstairs to look at the surveillance. I asked him, look at the surveillance footage, then come back up here and let me know if he lived here or not. Well, guess what happened? He didn't. He didn't. You'll hear him in the video. He stumbles over his words, and as far as I know, because I asked, he never went down there to look for the footage. And so I had to force my management company to provide him with the footage, in which he calls me and tells me that they're going to keep it on file, and that he knows that the guy doesn't live there because the management company confirmed that they've never seen him before, and then just said he doesn't believe he trespassed. So before you all scream Second Amendment, just know we got him out of there safely for a reason. I do not fear anyone, and I say this repeatedly all the time. I will continue to cover these stories. And whether this isn't a random person who was coming after me or somebody who was trying to plot, I fear no one. I fear none of you. And so I will get to the bottom of this. He picked the wrong woman. He picked the wrong woman to come after, to run up behind. I mean, he's literally running after me. And the fact that the police were telling me, this one officer is literally telling me that this is a man hitting on me. No, you don't hit on a woman by not saying, excuse me, as you run down the street. And I didn't have music on my headphones. So I know he wasn't trying to get my attention before this incident, before we got into the stairwell. Okay. So, and I have the audio, and you don't hear anyone saying anything. There's no excuse me before I go into the building. It only happens when we're in a enclosed stairwell. So this man, let's just be honest, he fucked with the wrong person. He's going to find out. The police might not want to do anything about it. They will do something about it. But it's going to go, I'm going to write up a whole story because it's happened to me before when you try to reach out for the law enforcement, you try to ask them for help, and they just don't want to do their job. And when I was younger and this happened to me, it happened to me in Sullivan County when I lived in New York. When we called the sheriff's office, they sent 2 deputies to talk to me, and they were just so dismissive, even threatening to file charges against me when I was trying to report something. I, at the time, was 18, so I was just scared because I was a kid. But I'm a grown woman now. Things are different. Things are different. We're not backing down. I am going to find out who this man is. And if he thought he could come after me, well, he hasn't seen anything. And all these politicians, all these people who don't want to do anything, who want to sit here and pretend like nothing happened. It happened. It happened. And luckily, And luckily, I've got it all on video. So that story will be dropping soon. I'm excited for it because you know why? Because so many women, um, unfortunately, back down when all of these things happen to them. And I totally understand. It happened to me when I was 18. I backed down. I didn't push forward. I didn't go after these people. I should have, didn't. And so my point is now I'm an adult. Nothing bad is going to happen to me now because I fear none of these people. God controls my destiny. I say that repeatedly. And we're going to keep fighting. I'm going to get more of the footage. We're going to report on this show. We're going to make sure that moving forward, law enforcement in my area takes these claims seriously. And if they choose not to, well, you call me. Because as always, when I do it for people we have on the show, I have no problem pushing back against law enforcement. No problem. So now that it's happened to me, we're going to make an example out of me. We are going to push back. We are going to make sure that this does not happen again where I live because I did not move somewhere to be chased away. So that's coming soon. Looking forward to that. Tack, thank you so much. You know, it's again the wrong woman. I am the wrong woman. So again, folks, I'm not going to answer the specifics, but I got him out of the staircase. And that's all that mattered. Because I could have called police, but what would have happened? Obviously, as we've learned repeatedly, a lot of these officers don't want to do their jobs and they're very dismissive. But guess what? I just moved here. I'm not going anywhere. Not backing down. And I'll force them to do their jobs because that's what it's all about. And I have a massive success rate. So let's get that going. All right, let's talk about other things besides myself. Let's talk about other things besides myself because no. Stalkers who you shoot never stalk again. Change my mind. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on that. So we'll leave it at that. Folks, I just don't. We'll talk about it soon. I'll give you the deets soon on that front. But thank you. I appreciate always your support. Again, folks, if you haven't done so already, you got to head on over, subscribe. Sorry, I'm trying. I don't have producer Pete again. Without producer Pete, I'm falling apart, guys. I am falling apart. But the good news about it is today is a Saturday morning. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. We are thankful that you are here. I'm thankful for sure. If you haven't done so already, independentnewsroom.com, all of my exclusive reports, everything that everyone's afraid to cover. Well, I'm fearless. I'm not afraid. Head on over independentnewsroom.com, subscribe. It's a free email list, but we greatly appreciate it when you subscribe as a paid subscriber because your money literally funds this program. And I know it's like a PBS thing, but I'm serious. We also survive off your donation. So if you can head on over and click that donations tab, you can make a donation either monthly or one-time donation, and you get to pick the dollar amount. It's sent through DonorBox, so it's completely secure and safe. Again, folks, independentnewsroom.com. We appreciate it. I appreciate it when you do because I couldn't do it without you guys, and I'd probably have to work in the corporate media again if we did not have that going. All right, let's talk about something else for a second. Obviously, as many of you guys know, it's very controversial. Everyone's talking about it. But Ghislaine Maxwell was given limited immunity after speaking to the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche this week. They had 2 meetings in Florida. Now, she's currently being held in a Tallahassee federal prison, as many of you guys know. I think it's interesting because she knows a lot. She knows a lot. And it looks like and I think the only reason why, let me just give you some context here. I think the only reason why the DOJ is taking this meeting with her is because I'm very confident that files were deleted. Why else would they be taking a meeting with her? I think files were deleted. And I think that's the reason why the DOJ is flying in to meet with her in person to have these conversations. Now, according to reports, she was asked questions about 100 different people linked to Epstein, and she answered all of those questions. So that's interesting. Obviously, her legal team is angling towards a pardon. I mean, she'll probably get one if she's going to give up the goods. Probably a bad way to say that. Uh, I think she's probably to get a pardon. And I don't think I'd really honestly be upset if it threw a lot of high profile people in prison. She's already served her time. I know it's like probably like not what you want to hear, but the reality of it is if we could take 5, 6, 7 pedophiles off the street with this, I'm okay with that. Because right now none of them have been held accountable, and so it's very, very likely that they're out there reoffending because they got away with it. So accountability needs to come. And whether it means that we work out a deal with Maxwell if she turns over names, I'm okay with that. No objection for me. No objection for me. So we'll see how that all pans out. Let me know what you guys think. If you're in the Rumble chat right now, let me get that up on the screen. What's your thoughts? Should President Trump throw a pardon her way? Let me get it up on the screen. It's just me. I'm solo today. Okay. Let's see. So technologically ignorant. So if you're in the Rumble chat right now, let me know what you guys think. Should President Trump pardon Ghislaine Maxwell? And folks, if you are in the Dear America chat, head on over to our main page. Let me flip that over so you guys have that link. That's the page where all of your support goes straight to us. We greatly appreciate what you do. Make sure you guys subscribe, of course, because that is my main page. We're very thankful for Graham Allen and all the great Dear America folks that help us stream on their platforms to get the message out to everyone. But that is our main page. So head on over there. Let me flip over to our main page to get that chat going and up. So if you want to contribute right now to the discussion, should President Trump issue a pardon? Do just that over at the Brianna Morello Show page on Rumble. GW Jones 75, no pardon, maybe time served. Yeah, commuting. Kirk, no. Yeah, only if Ghislaine throws the Obamas and Clintons and Prince Andrew. Yeah, I think it's really important. Yeah, Lurk, I don't think so. Agreement usually doesn't come with the promise of a conviction. So that's one thing. So if you're seeing this right now, you are on my show page, the Brianna Morello Show page. We're gonna leave that one up so people aren't confused. So if you're over at Dear America and you want to jump into the chat right now that we have on the screen, you got to head on over to the Brianna Morello Show page. So click that link that I put up in the chat, and it's going to direct you straight to here. And also make sure you smash that like button. That's very, very important, and I appreciate what you do. Bob says if she has actionable information, pardon her. Morphs if she gives all the names, no fakes. Yeah. Yeah, Andrew. I mean, I think President Trump, when he said that he's got the authority to do so, I think they're going to use it as a chip. I do. I don't know like what to tell people about that. Everyone hit that like button right now, especially if you're on YouTube. We don't normally go on YouTube, but we're trying something new. We are trying something new. And if you're on Rumble, I'm trying to expand my network on Rumble. So go to the show page, hit that follow button. I am like trying my best to do all of this. Again, a lot of American remains, no pardon waterboard. Listen, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I understand. I'm with all of you on that front. I actually think it's incredible. Bud Saver listening from New Mexico. Shaver, they would say. Well, welcome. I'm trying to skedaddle on Twitter as well while we got the chat up and running. The Mad Rhino, 100%. Again, folks, welcome to the show. I'm trying to read through all of your stuff. And you know what the best part about Twitter is? If you say something mean, I'm just going to block you. just gonna block you. We don't have time for the mean comments. Again, if you're in the Rumble chat, make sure you drop some comments in there. A lot going on. A lot going on. Barack Obama's a criminal. You and I both knew this. We've known this for quite some time now. Now, finally, the rest of the country is waking up. But here's the thing. Normally, the Obamas have been able to control the mainstream narrative, but things are getting so bad that they really don't have the mainstream media who could run cover for them anymore. Because the reality of it is, number one, ratings are down for a lot of these mainstream media outlets. They are crashing. They are crashing. And also, it's incredible to me because, not everyone really, people are turning over. People who were loyalists to the Obamas are no longer loyalists. And so they're all going to start to realize that they can't control the narrative anymore. And I think that kills them, right? Because they have been able to control the narrative. And now they can't control the narrative. And so there are all these rumored reports. I was reading an NBC article saying that Obama officials are so on edge right now because they can't control the narrative. That they don't want the mainstream media to cover all of this, but they are covering it. Times are different. Americans have woken up. Listen, folks, if I, as a former Democrat years ago, could make the transition over to, like, I guess now you would call me far right, the rest of the country is going to wake up because there's so many people who are just tired of being spoon-fed bull, and they're waking up. So the Obamas are trying their very best to sit here and suppress everyone, suppress these facts from coming out because they don't want you talking about it. But we are going to talk about it. The Barack Obamas of the world, the Hillary Clintons, they all belong in prison. It's not just them. John Brennan, obviously, all of the characters who have worked aggressively hard to destroy this country, the people who have completely just gone out there and completely violated the trust of the American people. Screw them. They belong in a prison cell. They deserve to die in that prison cell. And we probably should set a stronger tone. Social media has been a complete game changer because normally people like myself would have been deplatformed, but we're not. We can come out swinging and say all of these things, and there's not much they could do. Here's a Daily Call article talking about Russiagate and really just going out there and saying the former president and his aides are reportedly hoping to conceal all of the revelations coming forward from this declassified document dump. Again, folks, Tulsi Gabbard, just to kind of put this in perspective a little bit for folks at home, I believe it was presidential. I think it was the presidential race in, don't quote me on it. But Barack Obama came out swinging for Tulsi Gabbard and endorsed her. I remember hearing from Democrats that Tulsi Gabbard was the future for the Democratic Party. And then Hillary Clinton went after her. And long and behold, now she has become just an asset. Wouldn't even say she's Republican because those who know her tell me that she's kind of got like a little bit of Democrat still in her, but she's just like a normal Democrat, like back in the day, like back when Democrats had like an ounce of normalcy. And I like her. We could disagree on topics, and I think that's fine. I don't hold it against anyone, but I like her. And so I just think it's so fascinating that she has been the massive force behind all of this, pushing these documents for declassification. I can't. It's a Saturday morning, folks. Give me a break. Randall, Tulsi means holy basil. I don't know what that means. I thought I was going to say balls. Probably, maybe. Down East has a question for me. What red pilled you? My red pill moment had to be when I was reading through New York legislation that was being passed through. In 2019, they had passed, it was 2018 technically, they had passed through legislation which really allowed victims of sex crimes to be harassed by those who went after them. They called it criminal justice reform, but it actually targeted victims. And it was pushed through by, get this, Governor Andrew Cuomo. He actually stuffed it into the state's budget, which obviously has nothing to do, right? Such a massive piece of legislation which cancels cash bail for most crimes, which they say are the nonviolent crimes, but their list of violent crimes are absolute or nonviolent crimes are absolutely horrific, included like things like manslaughter, possession of child pornography. Those were all crimes that they said were nonviolent. But obviously, if you're the victim of manslaughter, you can't speak up for yourself. Or if you're the victim of child pornography, you'd probably say it's actually a violent crime. But New York Democrats will disagree with you on that front. So that was my big awakening moment, reading through legislation and doing the hard work and realizing I was being fed a narrative that wasn't true. That's how I started my career in kind of like the politics news side of things. It really wasn't even about politics for me. It was about helping victims of crimes. And it's kind of pivoted into all of this, but it's the reason why I'm an independent now. But I saw what was happening. I got really angry. I got really, really angry. And that's what you have here. An productive angry woman. I don't just bitch about things. I do sometimes, actually. But nobody listens. Nobody listens. Folks, right now, if you are on the Rumble page, make sure you head on over to my show page as well. I'm dropping that link again in the chat. If you're watching on Dear America, hey. Welcome to the show. If you're watching on YouTube, you got to head on over to Rumble. A lot of my content doesn't make its way onto YouTube. I'm really bad at self-censoring. It's always been a problem for me in life. They're like, don't say that, Brianna. Don't say that's inappropriate. And I still always say it. So if you want to find my content on a censor-free platform, head on over to Rumble, search The Brianna Morello Show, and give us a follow. I greatly appreciate you to do so. I'm trying to build up a little bit more on Rumble. We do a show every single day on Thursdays on Rumble, and it's a live-ish, live-to-tape show. I usually just have like a couple of minutes delay so that if there's any mistakes, we could fix it. And then I do my show on InfoWars every Saturday morning, but it's a little different this week. We just actually started last week, so give us a break. Give us a break. I'll be back there, of course, every Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time on InfoWars, giving you all the stories that everyone's afraid to talk about. And I'll keep you posted too, because I had a whole show lined up for today. Again, folks, a lot going on in the world. All right, what kind of topics do you want to discuss? I'm going to stay on the Brianna Morello Show page. So if you want to drop a comment, head on over right now. Make sure you do that. Tack, you told Tulsi's team she was on the watch list. You helped the Wonder Woman. Aw, thank you. Let me tell you. So yes, so I broke the story, if you guys are unfamiliar, with Tulsi Gabbard being added to the TSA terror watch list. It is a story that I covered. I've covered extensively when J6ers were added to the terror watch list. And then I got a call from whistleblowers saying that, heads up, Tulsi Gabbard, a former congressional member, is being surveilled by U.S. air marshals because TSA added her to a terror watch list. So when she's traveling, we've got several officers tailing her, and she doesn't know because they're in plain clothes. So it was a Sunday when I got the news. So I'm trying to find like her contact information, can't find her contact information, find someone on her team, reach out, let them know. But they had a gut feeling that she was added to a terror watch list because she had to go through additional security. So when I'm giving her all the information, I've got the physical proof, I've got the verbal confirmation from my source. They, didn't want to comment at first, but then said later, yeah, we kind of had a feeling because you had to go through all this additional security. And it's so crazy that it happened to her, but I'm actually thankful it happened to her because if it didn't happen to her, thousands of Americans would still be on that list. That list has since been shut down. We're so thankful. As many of you know, I'm actually suing still TSA over that list. Again, something networks like Fox would never do. I do it though. Because why not? Why not go out swinging? Why not go out there and fight back? We complain all the time that there's not enough people out there who have the cojones to do these things. I've got the cojones. Let's do these things. So right now I'm currently suing the VA still over what they did to J6ers. If you are unaware, they actually decided to cut VA benefits accidentally. They're like, whoops, it was a mistake. Cut benefits to J6ers while they were getting closer and closer to their criminal trials or their appeals. It was at a very strategic point in their career or their cases. And the reason why I am now suing the VA over it is I want to know, like, who told you to do this? Now they're fighting. We just had an update in my case recently this week. Actually, my lawyer met with the judge who's asking for more information regarding my request. So we'll get them more information. But the VA hasn't even started looking. And this request was put in, I think, over a year ago. The VA coming out and saying that they can't search through emails because that would take a lot of work. Wouldn't that suck if you have to do your job? So not surprising from that front. Government employees, not the best. But my lawsuit with TSA, we've brought so many things forward. And that's the reason why you guys head over to independentnewsroom.com and subscribe there. Can't stop plugging it because you know that nobody else is doing these types of exclusives. Now, as a result of my lawsuit against TSA, which you are all well aware of because I cover it extensively all the time. And if you haven't seen it yet, head over to independentnewsroom.com. You could scroll. We got all the information there. But constantly breaking exclusives. It's free to sign up. Just, again, head over to that subscribe button, enter your email. If you want to become a paid subscriber, I greatly appreciate it because, again, you guys keep us going. But I'm the only one who actually really covers a lot of these issues regarding TSA. So some might say that I'm not a favorite, but there's also new people for TSA, and they're very kind to me. They respond, they're very polite, so we're excited about that. But the old regime, they didn't like me very much. But let's talk about like what I've gotten from TSA in this lawsuit so far. There was this document that they sent me. So do you guys remember when under the Biden regime, how they were just allowing illegal aliens to board flights and they didn't have IDs? And so they were allowing them to get on planes. Well, I was the one who broke the story to you guys all that they actually were using documents. Get this, documents as I scroll through this and try to grab it for you. Here you go. They were actually using documents from convicted sex offenders who were breaking into our country. They were allowing them to fly on planes. And you wouldn't believe it if I didn't have the proof. And I've got the proof to back up this claim. Take a look at this form. This is a form that's given to a convicted sex offender who is trying to illegally enter our country under the Biden years. It's no longer active. But this is what this lawsuit that I sued TSA for came and brought me. This is in perspective here. I got this during the Trump administration. So they are trying to be more transparent. They were the ones who handed this over to us. But unfortunately, TSA didn't hand it over. They, in fact, denied and said that they don't have any internal documents regarding illegal aliens boarding flights without driver's licenses or any form of ID. Well, now we know they lied to the court. And there probably won't be any ramifications for that because they are exempt from all of things when it comes to accountability. But take a look at this. I mean, they literally were asking convicted sex offenders to just register as a convicted sex offender within the first 7 days of being released. And then they need to hand over that proof within 10 days. They also had them take, they had them promise that they were going to take sexual deviance counseling program. That's what the kind of program they wanted to sign up for within 14 days of being released into our country. So this is the Biden regime admitting that they think that the lowest, most awful human beings on the face of this earth were somehow redeemable. That's what they thought. And that's exactly what you see here. This is why you go to the independentnewsroom.com, you subscribe, because again, I mean, I had to sue, but this is the content that you're going to see when you guys subscribe. Again, Fox News isn't doing this. None of the other mainstream outlets will ever do this kind of work. But I don't care. We cover the stories that nobody else will, and I'm proud of that. It took Fox over a week to cover that Tulsi Gabbard story after I did, though. And they knew about it in advance, so they didn't have to wait a week. They decided to wait a week. So, reward good work. Head on over to my news outlet, my newsletter, and make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're in the Rumble chat right now, welcome. All right, we're going to do about, let's say 5-10 more minutes of this. So if you got a question, let me know. Drop it in the chat right now on the Brianna Morello show page on Rumble. That is the main one where your questions, your comments, everything's going to be up on the screen. We're going to stick it there to play it simple. On Twitter right now, Randall just asked, how are the vitamin B shots going? Okay, so great Great, great, great. So, in case you missed it, I had this massive needle. I started doing B12 shots myself, sent to me, and I was a little queasy about it. But since then, I am all on board. So I actually give myself gosh, my vitamins. I know it's a skill. It is a skill. So I do that myself. I also do NAD. So I do those injections myself too. I'm not a doctor, so don't take any advice from me, but definitely consult with a physician. I wanted to make sure I had all the energy in the world. And I wake up at 4 a.m. every day, so I need the energy. Also, guys, if you haven't done so already, if you are a podcast listener, search the Brianna Morello Show. And I do a morning briefing every morning. For the last 2 weeks, I've been traveling back and forth, so we haven't been able to do it, but we're going to be back Monday doing it. And it's like a 5-minute news read where I give you all the headlines that you need to know about. So do just that. Also, the podcast is on there as well. So do just that. Ed, Brianna, we could add doctor to the resume. I am not Joe Biden. I'm not Joe Biden. I am not a doctor. I couldn't even pronounce half of those words that they have to know. But thanks for being so positive. Thank you for being so positive. Again, folks, drop your comments in the Brianna Morello Show Rumble page. It's up on the screen. Comments, questions, concerns. That's what's up on the screen right now. I know those of you who are in Dear America, let me just go back and forth and just drop it in there so you all see it. April Jones, welcome. April, I just dropped our show page link in there too, so feel free to give us a follow. Thank you for jumping on. A lot of you guys are first-time listeners, and I am honored that you're here, of course. I try my very best to beat out everyone. Ed asking if the InfoWars show will be scheduled for tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. We will see. I'm working on it, I promise. But I would love to. But again, I haven't had a second to make the call. I was just like, let me just jump on because I got a lot to vent about. And so we'll figure it out. I'll keep you in the loop. Oh man, how do you guys not wake up at 4 a.m. every day? I don't understand how people how does one sleep in? What does that mean? What does that look like? How does everyone's always like sleeping in today? Sleeping in for me means like 6:30. That's sleeping in. Cliff the Great looks like is saying who's the top priorities for handcuffs. I mean, for starters, obviously Barack Obama. I mean, all of them. Hillary Clinton, all of them. Man, the tranquilizer thing was just so funny to me, by the way. Like, now it all makes sense. You guys saw that story? Oh my gosh. So amazing. So amazing. Let's see. We got another new listener. Dolly. Let me see. I can't see. I'm blind. If you guys saw the size of my monitor, you would be very impressed with how well I am able to just continue to read it. It's like size font 8. So she's a squinting new listener. Will we ever see any charges brought against the corrupt deep state? I was on Tim Pool on Tuesday, and I felt very black pill. Because I was just like, no. But I think they have to, right? I think there has to be indictments. There has to be major arrests because if it doesn't happen, MAGA is just gone. We're never going to trust you again. We're never going to trust you again. The first term, mistakes made. Second term, third term. Sorry, we're on YouTube. I can't say what I want to say. Third term. Yeah, we can't just keep standing by and pretending like this is okay. T. Simons, yes, Brianna, you go after the stories people won't take time to cover. That's the goal. Always is the goal. Always is the goal. I love doing that. I love covering all those stories because honestly, I think most people claim to be journalists, but they're cowards. They're cowards. Folks, if you haven't done so already, head on over to your podcasting platform, search the Brianna Morello Show, give us a follow because we do the morning shows. I do it every morning. It's about 5 minutes worth of all the news headlines that you need to be caught up on. We haven't been doing it for the last 2 weeks because I've been traveling, but we're back running the boat again. Tomorrow, I'm actually gonna be on Infowars tomorrow too. I'm going on Nick Sorter's show. He's got a show as well on the weekends on Sundays. So I'll be on Infowars for that. So make sure you tune in. Yeah, it's been very, very interesting, folks. These last few days have been very, very interesting when it comes to all of this. I want to say arrests are coming because if there aren't any arrests, we will hold them accountable. What does that look like? Well, that looks like losing support. So we'll see how that all looks. Folks, if you haven't done so already, make sure you head on over to the main show page. Give me a follow. I am trying my very best to go through it all. Let's see. April, just found your show. Thank you again. Love it. Love, 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 love the fact that you guys are all mud dog. This is my first time watching you. Well, thank you. We do a show all the time. Spider Web saying you want to see me in the InfoWars studio. Yeah, they're a couple hours away from me. I have popped over there though. I did break that exclusive story. So make sure you head on over to see that. It was as many of you guys know, and let me try to grab that link for you. In case you guys didn't listen to it, because I think it's insane. I think it's so freaking crazy. Because I'm still fighting with them over this issue. But as many of you guys know, InfoWars reporter Jamie White was brutally murdered in Austin, Texas. And I exclusively obtained audio of one of the so-called suspects. He's 15, so we can't 100% confirm. But in the audio, he's literally admitting to disposing the murder weapon, allegedly. He also pins it on his friend, Eloy. It's clear as day. Let me grab you that link. And again, this is just to highlight the point that I keep telling people. The problem with all of this was Austin PD didn't even look at the audio recording, listen to the audio recording, download the audio recording until I went to air with it. So that's the link right there if you want to click into that to listen to it. All right, folks. A lot going on in the world. It's a Saturday morning. Go out to your local farmers market. Support your local farmers. That is what is so important. And folks, we're going to wrap this up, but I wanted to remind you all again, if you like exclusive stories, you got to head on over independentnewsroom.com. That is the independentnewsroom.com. Give that show, well, I guess give the website a follow, subscribe to it. You can enter your email address. It is completely free. If you want to support my work as an independent journalist, though, you can do that also. We appreciate it. Literally funded by you. So I actually kind of need it. So you can do that as well. We're also going to be releasing exclusive paid content. Or if you just want to donate and you don't want these massive companies taking out a massive cut, you could do it also on this website. I think the cut that they take is just the processing fee, which is about 3%. So this is kind of our go-to place if you like to support my work. Head on over independentnewsroom.com. That is where you're going to want to go to support my work and also to sign up to make sure you guys get these exclusives because, again, no one else is talking about it. So there's no surprise there. Folks, if you haven't done so already too, like the show page. And if you're just joining us now, crank back a couple of minutes. I went over a couple of really great stories, and I think you need to see it. So listen, okay, Saturday, you got to head on out. Touch grass today, folks. Stay off of the internet because it's always so negative. Get off the internet. Go outside, touch grass, sit by the pool. Enjoy a healthy drink. Go to your local farmer market. Support your local farmers. And I will catch you here next time. Stay in the loop. Follow me on X at Brianna Morello. And give us a follow. Folks, as always, I love you dearly. We'll catch you here again next time. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.